useful apps as well that I use that you also might really find quite interesting as well. So first things first, so you want to use an iPad in a session. So I'm just going to, hopefully this will work, so bear with me. So I'm going to share content, and I'm going to do this, I think I'm going to, is it going to let me share my screen? Probably. I'm going to just share. So when you log into Webex and you share your content, it'll give you a little screen. It'll ask you what you, if you're familiar with it, it'll ask what you want to share. So you'll see that there are apps, windows for PowerPoint and any other application you've got up. If you scroll down a little bit, it will also ask, would you like to connect your iPad or a Surface Pro or whatever? And you click that button. And as you can see, hopefully on your screens, it is now sharing my desktop on my iPad. So anything I now do on here will be shared with the student. So nice opportunity now just to perhaps illustrate the kind of things that you can actually do with it. So I just have grouped my apps in different places. So I'm going to take you into a drawing app. So one of the drawing apps I use is called Whiteboard Pro. This is available on App Store. And basically, what you can do with it is I can have a meeting with a student live, and I can just straight off the bat on the screen take notes and a commentary with the student, or with a class I can scribble. It's a little bit like having a screen projector that you want to write on, so you do it. Now, the other advantage of something like Whittle is that I can click, if you can see at the top of the screen, record. And basically anything I capture on my iPad now, or anything I say, or anything I do in this space is also being captured as a video. So I end up with 2 points. So I can make loads of notes here about how to do an essay. I can then stop and I go back in. I can watch that video back to the students. So it's quite a nice way. The other thing it also lets me do is if I go to and I go export, if I've taken lots of notes with a student group or we've captured stuff in a session, if I click as export, yeah, all those notes will be saved as PDF, and I can email them out of Whittle straight to the group, or I can put them online. So it's a nice way of creating some immediate feedback or content to a student group by actually just creating it online. Okay, and I find this app really helpful for working with other colleagues or working with students. It allows me, for example, if I put another page in, I can add, and I can put a photograph. So let's put a nice one of put that in, and I can scale that up. So I can pre-prepare a session by embedding photographs in, and I can say to the student, right, tell me what's happening in this photograph. What evidence can you see of? And you could there be leading and facilitating a discussion, and you could be annotating those as you go through. So it's a nice way of actually engaging student in some content. Again, you can then save that as a video, or you can export it out as a PDF. Now, I'm also conscious that prior to lockdown, Whittle was free, or it was cheap. They put the price up a little bit, so it's not a free one. I can't remember what it is at the moment. There's a free version that gives you 1 page, and the advanced version gives you unlimited. So it's a little investment, but for me, it's worth it. But again, I'm not here to say you must have this on your iPad. I'm just here to try and show you the types of software that's actually out there that you might consider using. So in addition to that, if you just search on App Store and Google App Store, if you've got a Surface Pro, and just very simply, just type in Whiteboard software. So because we have a Microsoft account at the university, the one that we all have access to is Microsoft Whiteboard. And this does, if it hasn't broken, which it has, there we go, come on. There we go. So this is Microsoft's version. It doesn't allow, it's a whiteboard. So I remember rightly, it doesn't allow multiple pages. So you have to create, but you can scribble on this in exactly the same way. You're sharing it the same way via Webex. But the beauty with this one is because it's Microsoft linked, that if you go to the top and click link, you can actually use it as a collaborative tool online as well. So you could work individually with students on something, or you could actually get groups of students actually in collaborating on a whiteboard. If lots of them have got it, and again, they've all got access to this whiteboard software because it's a 365 product. They just have to download it onto their devices or their PCs. They can all go away individually and work on something and then share it. They can all, and you can, I think in some of the rooms. Now, one of the sessions we're going to do this week is how do I run a socially distanced seminar, where you might be back on site in September and running a small tutorial group in a room face to face, but your students are socially distanced. These little apps are a nice way of actually perhaps doing that, where students can work if they've got it. Okay, but again, you can put text boxes in. So Microsoft Whiteboard's another nice one. But again, it's just playing and just having a look at what's actually out there. So I've also put on here, there's one called Show Me. And again, what I can do afterwards is send you a useful app guide round, and I'll park that on the website for the session today, where we put together lots of different types of apps and what they're actually good for. And some of these are available on iPad, some of them available on Google, and available for Android as well. So again, this is just a standard drawing package like that, and you can scribble away. You can add multiple pages in, so you can keep going, and you can add pictures in, you can scribble out. But as with Little Pro, it also allows you to record what it is you're actually capturing as well. So you've got a record of what you've actually done. Okay, doesn't allow a hard, I want to see if there's a jot. Is that, let me see if it is a, yeah. So it saves them in your dashboard that you can then share with your students. So we've got Show Me, Notepad Plus is another one. Again, watch this one because it likes to invite you to upgrade. But again, the oops. Oh, I've reached the number. Some of the, again, so this one's limited. So if I go into one I've done already, again, this is a nice one because it allows me to create multiple pages. But again, it's the same. I can type in. But on this one, again, depending on how the students might be using it at the other end, I can add in blocks of text as well. So again, allow different apps basically catering for different levels of engagement, but basically they're all doing the similar type of thing. Okay, so it's just worth having a play. While I'm here, what else I've got? Some of the sessions that we're running this week are using Padlet. I don't know if anybody have used Padlet before. Let's have a look on the chat. How high spec does my Mac have to be for that? This is the first generation iPad, and it's been changed because Logitech replaced it because one of their keyboards damaged it. But I'm still running off an early version of iPad, so it's nice to have the later versions that you've got the pencil to go with it, so you can actually scribble on it. But for me, this is still as fast, and it basically covers everything that I actually need. So we're doing some sessions on iPad. So for Android, Mac, PC, and iPad, there is a Padlet app that you can get. I don't know if anybody's used Padlet. So does it need to be a Pro, not a standard iPad? A standard iPad does it as well. I think the latest versions of the Air do support the pencil. I think that's one of the things I would definitely look for. So you can, if you're doing a lot of work around iPad, you can run that off the web, but you can also run it off your mobile device here. If the students are using it, get them to run it off their mobile devices. the university is actually getting a Padlet site license. So at the moment, if any of you have used Padlet, you'll know that you're limited to 3 boards, which is a bit of a pain, and you almost have to create. I've got loads of Padlet boards, but I've got lots of email addresses. But the new version that we're getting for the university will allow you to have unlimited Padlets. So if anybody of you've not used that or would like to find some interesting ways of how to use Padlet, I'm running a session on Thursday afternoon, on Friday morning, about how to take advantage of that software, because it's really powerful. What else have we got? Connect, other things that you could do connection. I'm also going to run a session this week on this is another nice app. This is called MindMeister, and again, this is in the documentation I'll send round. But MindMeister is a really nice mind mapping tool, and again, it's available on different platforms. And very simply, you create nodes of information, and you can add additional nodes around that, just like an iPad. Again, with this one, you can put it online. You can actually take the embed code and put it into your Moodle page, as you can also do with a Padlet, which is really powerful as well. But on this one, this has got a nice collaboration feature again as well, where you can actually invite people in. You can invite students to collaborate on their mind maps. Again, the students could create their own accounts. They can create their own mind maps as groups, and they can share that content amongst themselves, and they can then share you in to look at what they've actually done. Okay. The other session I'm also going to run this week, and I'm not sure I've got it on here. No, it's Kiala. It's not a web-based one. We're doing some other apps. So please just look through the program, because there's lots of stuff around using different types of apps to help you. Okay. Any questions on that so far? So very simply, the way I'm running it, just to confirm, is that I've got this hardwired into my Mac, and it will read it and it will trust it. And I'm basically just sitting here today with this in front of my screen. The other thing I also run at home, which is a great find, is, I don't know if anybody can see that, but I've actually got an iPad Pro mount for a tripod. And it's absolutely brilliant if you want another source to run your webinars off. So instead of always constantly having to look at the screen, like I'm doing here, with the iPad rigged up on the holder, and you can just get these on Amazon. This is quite a simple one, and it just expands up. Look, a bit like the baby one for the phones. I can have my iPad mounted here, and I can just sit like that. And it's a slightly more natural way of actually having a conversation with people. So the iPad's got an awful lot of functionality to actually go with it. Sorry, I can't find how to share with the, what's this one? Yeah, MindMeister. So Heather, sorry, I can't find how to share with the iPad. Where are you? I can't hear you, Heather. Do you want to unmute? There we go.
Yeah, so I've clicked and scrolled and stuff, and I've got nothing.
Are you all right?
Yeah, where do you find the share with the iPad bit?
What, on the Webex? Right, so on your Webex, if you're in Webex, if you've got a Webex, what you'll see is there's a little share button at the top. I wonder if I can.
No, mine's on the bottom.
Yeah, so if you click that, it's the rectangle with the arrow that points up to share.
Yep, I've got that.
Yeah, click share content.
Got that.
Yeah, and then at the top, you probably see, if you've got anything open, you'll see the windows. If you just scroll down, you should see it. There's another row. It says share file, other applications, whiteboard, and iPhone or iPad screen. Just select that one, and it's
not there. There is no iPhone or iPad screen.
Is it offering another alternative to plug another device in?
Nope.
Are you running what are you running on at the moment, Heather? A PC?
A laptop.
A PC laptop?
Yeah.
Yeah, we had somebody plug in the other week. It should be there. Have you got anything plugged in at the moment?
No.
Right, it might need it to plug in to recognise it's there.
Ah,
it picks up the device. So have a go at plugging it in first and then see if it picks up. If it doesn't, come back to me and we'll get you sorted out.
thank
Okay.
you.
Right. Another little cheeky tip is, and you can do this one on your phones as well. And some of you may have done this, so apologies. But if you go to general settings and I go to my control center, there's a button here that says customize controls. Now, at the moment, mine is turned on. So I'm going to turn it, I'm going to take it off. I'm going to get rid of that. So you'll come into customize controls. And if you go down, you'll see one at the bottom that says screen recording. So if you click that, that screen recording option now forms part of the overall, forms the top 3. So that's done. We click control center or I press the home button to come out. And it takes me back to my home page. Now, if I drag from the top right, can you see? Now, it won't work because at the moment I'm sharing this with you. So it doesn't like to run 2 video streams separately. But if this was standalone, can you see the little round button under the volume control on the right? That is basically a record button. Now, if you hold that button down for about 3 seconds, a little sub button appears underneath, which says turn audio on. So you do that, click the button, and anything you then do on your iPad is recorded as a movie. So if you are, for example, let's say I want to comment on a Formula One website like that, I can comment on this and I can record myself critiquing what I'm actually looking at here as a short video. And as it goes live, what you'll see in the top right hand corner via the wire next door to the Wi-Fi signal will be a little red button telling you that your screen is active and it's recording. To stop that, to stop the recording, just simply press that red button, and depending on the length of the video, it will then process and it will then save that down into your photos file on your device. From there, you can load it into YouTube. You can post that anywhere you like. But it's a nice way of, for me, I often use it on PowerPoint. I find doing audio voiceovers in PowerPoint quite clumsy because I never know if it's done it properly. So what I tend to do is I go to, oh gosh, my apps folder. There we go. And I would load up my PowerPoint. And I would run my, oops, see if I can find a more recent one. So let's do that one. I would run my PowerPoint from within my iPad. But what I'd then be doing is pressing the record button and then saying, right, hello, everybody, welcome to my PowerPoint session on da-da-da-da-da. It's capturing everything. Here's the next slide. As you can see on this one, this is happening, da-da-da-da-da. And at the end, what you've then done is captured that entire thing as a little movie that you can then put on YouTube and again embed into Moodle or do whatever you want with it. You might find that you take it away and put it into H5P, turn it into something a little bit more active. But for me, this is a slightly more immediate way of getting that voiceover onto PowerPoint if you don't like doing it on the screen. So this little tool in PowerPoint, actually turning it into a recording device, is a really nice shortcut for content capture, because the content capture policy is out. Content capture isn't about videoing all your lectures. It's about this, about how you can do little snippets of information quickly on your mobile devices that you can then put up online to share with your students. So it has a really nice degree of immediacy to it that you can actually use. So it's just a quick trick, but like I said, you can also do the same instructions to unlock that same functionality on your phones. Okay. Now I've talked about, yeah, if you're running a Surface Pro, the Whiteboard software, it runs in exactly the same way. If you do content share in Webex, it allowed me to plug my iPad in, but it also then gave me the option to do a whiteboard. So the other thing you can also do is run a Webex meeting through your iPad. And if you run the Webex through your iPad, then where it says select the in-house whiteboard in Webex, that's going to form the screen on your iPad, and you can type directly into that. So there's different ways of actually using it depending on whether you want to be PC based and run Webex through your machine, or whether you want to run Webex through your iPad. I run Webex iPad, I run Google Meets through this on my tripod, and it works really well. The only thing I've noticed is I've just plugged a small mic in just to up the sound a little bit. But that was a very minor thing just for me because I'm getting a bit deaf. But so that's a nice little feature. Webex screen share. If anybody's also running, I'm going to see if I can do my entire screen now. So let's see if I can. I'm going to drop out. I'm going to drop out of my PowerPoint, and I'm going to try and go all screen if I can. I'm not sure it's going to let me. I drop out of that. Share screen, share content. Screen 1. Right. Okay. So hopefully you might be able to all see yourselves. If you are running, if you can see my screen, which I will just tidy up, and I go, that tells me that you're looking at it. Can you all see my screen? Okay. You should be looking at my entire screen now, if I've got it right. At the top now, you'll see in the top button, there's a little tool, and basically that allows me to connect my pad to that. On the latest version of the iMac software on Catalina, this is called Sidecar, and basically it turns my iPad into a second monitor, which I can control. So I can have my iPad and I can have my Mac connected together. But it also allows me some functionality because I can actually type into it as well. It's replaced there was a piece of software on the market, and I cannot remember its name, that did something very, very similar. But this is a new feature that Apple have brought out for the iMac and the iPad Pro, and it works well. It's just nice to have those two extra screens. Right. Does anybody have any particular questions? I've run, like I said, this was a bite size. This is some base functionality. Does anybody have any particular questions or ideas of how they'd like to use it? I'm running a creativity session later in the week, and some of these will feature in that, plus other ones, but you're seeing me running, that's fine. Anybody got any questions?
Andy, may I ask a question, please?
Please, far away.
Are you using your MS Pro mic to record, or you're using another microphone?
What, on my iPad?
Yeah.
I'm just picking up, when I come off my iPad, I'm just using the inbuilt microphone, actually.
All right.
I thought about getting a Canon mic for different things, but actually the quality coming off my devices has so far not been that bad. And the quality on the recording, when you do use the Mac as a recorder, the quality is actually really good. I haven't had any issues with it at all.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
All right. Has anybody got any other questions? What I would say is just have it explored, depending on the, can you show Sidecar again? Yeah, I'll see if I can. Let's just make sure. Right. Can you just somebody tell me, because I always struggle to see if you're seeing what I'm seeing. And I think if I've got this right at the moment, you're seeing my screen. Excellent. Right. So if you go to the top right, if you're on a Mac and you're running Catalina, you'll see the volume button there. And then first left, if you click on it, it says it's basically the Air server. So if you're connected to an iPad, and if you've got your Mac connected, I've got mine connected hardscore. It's also connected to the same network and Bluetooth. I just click iPad 92. It goes blank. And basically what that, if you can see, that is now showing the same screen as my iPad. And that's forming the second screen now. And I can just set that, whether it goes left or it goes right, just on the iMac. And I can drag things over. So I can, the thing I find it really useful for is I have my webinars running on my, when I'm attending a webinar, I've got the webinar running on my iPad while I'm working on my iMac. So it's a bit like having that second screen alongside it. But if you're working on a Word document on this tablet, and you've got a keyboard connected to it, you can actually type in and put data in via the iPad as you would if you were using your normal PC. So again, it's horses for courses. The Surface is a really nice tool as well with the pen. It perhaps doesn't have the same type of apps as the App Store does, but you're looking for sorry, I'm having a brain fade. Whiteboards. The other one that I've also liked, I wonder if I could just show you that before we finish. Oh, I don't want that, Andrew. You don't want that. I want to go to share content. Let's see if this will fire back up. Right, there we go. Share. Always takes a minute. One of my other favorite apps is, it's called iAnnotate. Actually, I'll show you two. This is iAnnotate, and this is a really powerful PDF document. So here I've just got, I can open up, will that be a, what's that? So there's some feedback, and I can just bring it, and I've got a lovely control panel down here of stuff I can actually can do. So that's a really powerful PDF reader. And again, I can scribble on that, and I can send it right back to staff, which is nice. The other one, if I can find it, again, good housekeeping is really important, is called Liquitext. Where is it? This is called Liquitext. Now, if you're doing lots of research, or if you want to throw an app to students to help them manage their work, this is a nice one. So I can open. It allows me to drop in PDF documents that I can then scribble on. So here's a PDF document, and I can highlight bits and I can scribble all over that. But when I'm finished, I can then do this. I can, if it's going to work, I can squeeze that PDF. If I only want that paragraph, I then, well, a bit of practice. I want that bit. I want to squeeze on that one. I don't want that bit. I don't want that. Don't want that. Don't want that. Don't want that. Ah, that's the bit I want. And I get that, and I scroll down. Yes, that first paragraph's helpful, so I don't want that bit. So I start playing around with my PDF documents to make them a little bit more easier to engage with. And it also allows me to create research project folders. So if I've got 10 or so articles, I can actually drop them in at the end of this one. It allows me to add. So all my reading is in one place. I can then highlight, if I want to capture that bit, for example. Oh, that should work. That's not working. And use that. I can comment. I can add comments, but what I can also do, and I've forgotten how to do it, is I can drag bits over like I've done here, and squeeze them down, and I'm left with all the key comments on the right-hand side they actually want to use. And that's a very, very powerful little tool. There's one, there's America's Cup I was doing some research on. That's a balance, I like it. It's a great way of bringing lots of PDFs together, commenting on them, highlighting the text that you actually want to use. So everything's in one place so you can find it really quickly. Okay. Thanks. Anybody got any other questions? Is that hopefully that's been helpful. Again, we're here. If anybody's got any specific requirements, you're very welcome to contact me directly. This was a bit of a starter for 10. So if anybody'd like to discuss in more detail or would like a guinea pig to play with, I've helped a couple of staff with their Surface Pros, and they've logged in and kind of like had a session with me to help them practice. Really happy to do that as well. Then iPads aren't cheap. Stretch the imagination. I'm not advocating that we all go and buy one, but I've had this one for years and it has not failed me yet. And it's probably one of the best investments that I've actually made. I have, sorry, this is a bit blingy because my black and silver one broke, so I do apologize. But I have a nice Logitech keyboard that actually goes with it, and it's armored, so it stops it from getting scratched. And so that with a keyboard is really powerful. Okay, Colin, thank you very much for coming. We have a T3 session at 3, surprisingly. And then please just go and visit the website for any additional sessions coming up this week. We'd love to see you. And again, just to remind people that I will be running the ABL session again at 7:30 this evening. If you tried to get in this morning, if you can't make it, it will be recorded. Okay. Thank you very much. I will see you all soon. Enjoy the festival.